Oh, hey guys, didn't see you there. Welcome to the ACYA Podcast. So the ACYA Podcast is an educational initiative to give you guys some information about interesting topics, interesting people, and basically what we do is we talk about things that would interest you about the China and Australia relationship. So for our first episode, we have Chris Kamp, who went to China a few years ago, and we're going to quiz him about his experience in China. So Chris, you went to China. I'm just a little bit interested about where exactly you visited.
Yeah, well, I lived mainly in a place called Harbin. It's up in northeast China, sort of, right between Russia and North Korea. Very cold, like negative 30 in the winter, but it's a lovely place. I like it there. Apart from that, I travelled around quite a fair bit. I went to Chengdu, Shenzhen, Shanghai, Beijing, Ningbo, Daqing, Changsha, probably a few other places.
So did you pick up any of the local dialects or?
Not really. Like in Harbin where I lived, they speak Donghua. I can sort of understand that, but I don't really speak it. I speak like one sentence of Shanghainese, but that's about the extent of it. Yeah.
What can you say in Shanghai?
农场黑五港的内话, which is probably terrible pronunciation, but
that's okay. What sort of food did you try in each of the cities?
It's great how in China sort of every city, every sort of region has its own food. We don't really have that in Australia, so yeah, I got to try a lot of different stuff. Harbin, where I mostly lived, it's a lot of really sort of heavy, oily food, a lot of meat, a lot of noodles. It's pretty great, pretty good. A lot of fried stuff, the char, which is like kebabs, is really pretty famous as well.
Okay.
I also love the spicy food in places like Sichuan and Hunan. Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, so I'm just curious, out of so many places you have visited, where was your favorite city?
Well, obviously I have a special love for Harbin because I lived there for so long, and I think that was definitely the right choice of a place to go. But I also, I really love Chengdu in Sichuan. I'd say that's probably... Yeah, it is. I did get to go to the Panda Sanctuary, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I also just love the food mostly. It's, spicy food, that's kind of my thing. And the weather is sort of cool without being like negative 30, so that's nice as well. Yeah, it's a really laid back city and I love it there.
Oh yeah, is that where you have your most memorable experience?
Yeah, I guess so. I actually wasn't there for very long. I went travelling there during sort of a holiday from my year. Well, it wasn't actually a holiday, I just took the week off and didn't go to classes. But anyway, I just went down there for a week. It was really cool because just one day I sort of randomly decided to go climb this mountain called Qingchengshan, and it was like the first day I was there, and sort of on the way there, it's a couple hours outside the city by train, and I just happened to be sitting next to these Chinese students, and I met them, got to know them. We ended up spending the whole day together, sort of like climbing the mountain 7 hours up and down, and yeah, spent some time together the rest of the week. They showed me around the city, so it was a really great experience.
So traveling in a different country is really stressful sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you tell us a little bit about your hardest or your most troubling time in China?
Yeah, well, when I sort of first arrived, finding an apartment was actually really pretty stressful. For the first month or so, I lived in an apartment provided by the school I was staying at, just like renting a room there, which was fine, but it was ridiculously overpriced. I mean, the price for renting a room in a shared apartment was like 3 times what I would pay to rent an apartment by myself. Wow. So yeah, I wanted to get out of there. Yeah. The whole process of sort of looking for an apartment and finding it with my sort of limited Chinese at the time was pretty stressful. My landlady was also, at the place I eventually rented, was also very scary. It was hard enough to understand Chinese at the time without being literally screamed at my face. So that was... but it worked out okay in the end. I sort of made some local friends pretty quickly because there was a sort of great little community of sort of foreigners learning Chinese and some Chinese students around where I lived. It was sort of a student area. So I had some people to help me out, and yeah, found something eventually.
So obviously there's a big difference between the cultures of Australia and China. In your opinion, what's the most intriguing difference in terms of day-to-day activities?
I guess one of the more interesting things is sort of the things people do for entertainment is quite different. Like in Australia, you know, going out on a Friday night means going out to a club or a bar or something like that. Obviously there's that as well in China, but you know, if you go out drinking, it's more likely to be sort of, you know, sitting around on the side of the street eating Chinese barbecue with some mates, that kind of thing, sitting around a table. Also, the other big thing that we don't really do here, obviously, is karaoke, which is huge in China. Just because of that, I think everyone I met in China could sing at least decently well, so I'm super jealous because I'm terrible. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just to conclude, may I just ask you one last final question? So what would you recommend to our IPA members or other students who are going to do exchange in China in the future?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing I would say is if you really want to learn Chinese, go somewhere other than the absolute top tier cities like Shanghai and Beijing. It's like, you know, if you go there, you'll probably end up speaking English the whole time and you maybe won't pick up as much Chinese. Like the reason I went to Harbin is because not many people there speak English. Even the foreigners are mostly Russian or Korean, so you're forced to use your Chinese, so that's good. I guess the other thing is just make friends with the locals, you know, don't stick to the little expat communities and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, well, thanks for everything, Chris.
Yeah, it was great to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. Thank you.